What's up guys, welcome to the channel. In today's market update we're going to look at Bitcoin, Ethereum and Gold. As always, like and subscribe, I would really appreciate that guys. We're moving on to the 100 subscribers, that will be very nice to get that somewhere soon. And let's get into the video as always. So let's start with Bitcoin. Another week has passed and we saw a lot happen again. If you look at last Sunday, of course the week before we saw this big crash, and then Sunday we were around here. And compared to last Sunday, if you look at just what price did, price is at around the exact same price point. So what you can most of the time say then is that price just created liquidity, picked up liquidity, picked up liquidations, stop losses, etc. But didn't really do anything. I did it in gain levels, I didn't lose levels. So this week was, I wouldn't say not important, but they didn't really do anything long term or shaping a market direction. So as mentioned here, we were last Sunday and we were Sunday again. But what did we see last week? A bit of accumulation ranging. Of course, can't really tell, say this is ranging because it's a range of 10%. Ranging is more like on the bigger time frame 1, 2, 3, 4%. So of course 10% range is big. But I'd say price just picked up liquidity here. With this wick, picked up liquidity here. With this low, picked up liquidity here. So they just picked up liquidity. I think this is the first time in a couple of weeks where nothing really massive happened, because last week we saw of course dump, retest and then more dumps. And now for Bitcoin, these are my levels. And let me explain these levels because they got tested already of course. But let me explain this. So around Tuesday, Wednesday we were, of course in a local downtrend. This was a level to gain because we made a new high in this range here, a new high. This was a failure, so this is surely a level, the $71,000, where price will show reaction probably, and which price has to gain to make new highs. But we made new lows here locally, and then we saw with this wick we picked up a lot of liquidity but couldn't really continue the uptrend. We dumped further. So this was an important level, and you see price tapped it twice. And this was an important level because you made an entire new low. If you compare to this entire new low, this was your support. So price, they didn't tap this, they lost this level, but they picked up more liquidity here and then made the move, retested into this box. So this box is of course shared in the Discord. Make sure to join, free, links in the description, so you can still play this. And this was the main resistance, tapped it several times, wasn't strong enough, made a new low. Very important this one, because this is also a pattern we see often. When price taps the level multiple times but still can't break it, then it's very, not bullish, but a very good sign when price makes a new low but doesn't dump straight through a lot of support levels and just starts recovering here, regaining here. Then price is likely to have enough strength, enough liquidity to then break this resistance, and they did. And they're now looking to push towards it. This level we saw a new high of 70,500 on Saturday. Of course, small pullback, but I expect price to maybe test this level and even test the $74,000, because as mentioned, I think we have seen the biggest dump of course to below $60,000. I don't think price will in the coming weeks dump further to $50,000-$40,000. Is the bottom in? I don't know, but if they're going to $50,000-$40,000, I don't expect that to be right now, maybe more into the summer, because we already saw a sharp dump of course. So there's surely upside potential here, but there's still liquidity in this zone here, and then if price goes back to this zone, it will be scary times, because if that price doesn't hold the 63,000, we can easily make new lows. But the thing is, price tapped the 70k after making a 10% pump from 8% pump from the bottom on Thursday, and people are already saying the bull run is back, this was the bottom. And that's not how you should read the market, guys. In price action we try to tell you with levels, with this, if this happened then that will probably happen. So please don't start screaming, oh, bull run is back, or listen to these engagement baiters on Twitter or on whatever social media. Ethereum is always, most of the time, a bit of the same story. If we look at last week Sunday, we were around here as well, so not much happened. Small difference with Ethereum, I think, is that Ethereum, of course, created also low, created the hold, but then went to the top of this range very quickly, while Bitcoin was a bit in between. And then of course lost this range because it's not really a level, but you can see here that Ethereum tried to gain here, and with wicks, wicks show the direction, because wicks really show like price went there, but a strong reaction was there, a strong roof, a resistance. There were a lot of sell orders. Price couldn't really even hold this, because then you would have had candles. You have wicks, so price couldn't hold this. Made a new low locally, of course. I would have found it very nice if Ethereum sweep this level, because it's a very important level, the major support. which is positive that they didn't sweep it, because now we still have this support. But if they did sweep it, we have more liquidity, more buy orders. But then it was also do or die, if you get what I mean. If they picked up this liquidity, it was move or dump, which now they still have a support zone here. But anyways, main target for Ethereum at the moment is a $2,200 to gain. Of course, this is a big range. There are several levels in here, of course, but that doesn't really matter for now. And then we have this big box, but we don't have to start looking at that yet, because of course we can say the bottom is in. People are optimistic again because we made a low here, but we hold and make new highs locally. But as mentioned, you shouldn't start aiming for a 50% pump now, or people saying Bitcoin will now go back to 100k, 110k, but people don't realize that a lot of capital is needed for that, and that's like a 30-40% pump. And of course, when we see sharp dumps, we can surely see sharp pumps again, but I don't expect that to happen right now. If we then move over to gold and silver as well, price action has been very entertaining, I must say, in the past weeks. Of course, we had a massive bull run, or not really a bull run called for gold, but a massive run up, as we all know, and now we saw this 20% pullback. Since then we were a bit in this range. This is the main support, of course, the origin, the hold, whatever you want to call it, and then this is the main resistance zone or level to gain the $5,145. Price tried to gain it. I wouldn't say this is try, because they didn't really wick it or anything come close. It's just price going up. It's not like they tried to gain it and failed. It's just they didn't get to that level yet. Saw a sharp pullback on Thursday. I believe it was because of news, because I saw a lot of forex currency pairs also dropping. Trying to follow forex as well the last days and weeks. So they picked up liquidity here and are now trying to gain again. Of course, markets is closed in the weekend, but also for gold, it's looking good. I'd say there's one support zone here, which is not the biggest support zone because that is this one in this range, but I'd say this is a very important zone that price could still pick up some liquidity. 5% dump is big for gold, but it's not unusual to see. If we look back at what we've seen in the past days and weeks, we've seen gold one day 8% up, then 10% down, so anything can happen surely in these volatile days. So I wouldn't be surprised if gold picks up this liquidity here around $4,800 and then starts pumping. But I said that a lot of the times as well when we were in this massive uptrend, that there were support levels which price could sweep, but they didn't and just kept pumping. So that's also surely possible. And if you look at all-time high range, we're currently 11% off. That is a lot. I don't think we'll see all-time highs next week, but as mentioned, these days anything can happen, and surely if there's less tension geopolitically and there's some stability in the stock market, because the stock market has been moving up and down a lot as well, then we could surely see gold at new all-time highs soon, but I wouldn't take it for granted like we did in this massive uptrend earlier this year. But for this market update, that was it. As you can see, I zoomed out for the last frame of this video on the daily. Bitcoin has a lot of work to do to gain to 90,000, 100,000 or back to all-time highs, but of course we're in a bear run, or we've seen a massive dump. That's part of Bitcoin, of crypto, of the cycles of every financial asset, so there's nothing to worry about. I want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I brought some insights this week and what we can expect next week. Join the Discord and I'll see you guys in the next video.